Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Lux Research Innovation Leaders Series. And I am so delighted to have a very distinguished leader with us today, Pascale Wautelet. She's the Global VP of Research, Development, and Sustainability at Avery Dennison. Welcome.
Thank you, Marisa. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me for this fire chat.
Yes, so we have a lot to learn. I got to know Pascale in Amsterdam earlier this year. We had an executive roundtable, so we shared a lot. And she's quite an inspiration to me, and I hope today that she also inspires you. So let's start with an inspiring topic, which is innovation strategy. At your organization, what does innovation mean at Avery Dennison, and kind of like, how do you do innovation strategy at your company?
Yes, and I think innovation for us today, it has not always been like that, but innovation for us, and for me in particular, I think it's really about bringing new, highly differentiated solution for something that has a high demand or an unmet need in the market. So it really creates value for customer and business. And I have to say, this is somehow something a little bit new as well for us, because historically, innovation at Avery Dennison was very much associated with a new product. And we would innovate. We are very strong in technology. We are a material science company. So the innovation was very much historically technology push. So we would put products in the market and not necessarily thinking about solution like new business model or service.
Our kind of the pinnacle of our research agenda is this concept of human-centric innovation, which essentially means not a technology-centric or technology-first approach to innovation, that you have to think about your markets and your buyers and client needs, and even B2B organizations have to understand the downstream needs of consumers, even if they're not creating the consumer products, but the end market for eventually where they are in the value chain. With that, when you think about more solutions, are you incorporating more of that into your innovation roadmap? Like, how are you changing the way you're doing innovation road mapping to expand beyond just the technology and material sciences?
Yeah, and for sure, in particular, in the last, you see how changes go so fast in the last couple of years, and this change is gonna accelerate even more. And the way that we think about innovation is really to look at the trends in the different segment and industry or market we serve. We have a quite broad range of products, and we serve for sure beverage, food, health and personal care, but also automotive, building, construction, medical, logistics. So it's quite broad, but I think that the important is really to look at what are the mega trends. First of all, the big mega trends we saw in the past couple of years. Certainly, sustainability and digitalization are touching and transforming all industry. Doesn't matter which segment you serve, and for sure, because a lot of our portfolio is labeled that goes to decorate and help to inform consumer, label that goes in packaging, you can imagine sustainability had really a big impact. But the way we do, yes, it's absolutely to be in the ecosystem, ensure that from each of the industry, not only directly from our customer, but from the entire value chain. because our
Right.
customer sometimes doesn't know necessarily what exactly they need, but you innovation is about really being very curious and go in the entire value chain, understand and anticipating the changes that are coming.
Right. Is anything changing in how you approach that? Does AI affect that? Are you changing any of your business processes around how you do that today? Or is that a fairly traditional process of discovery and understanding those mega trends and kind of consumer
Uh,
needs?
yes, we are we are looking at AI for sure. We have been putting quite some effort because AI, machine learning, it's a given. It's not
Yes.
going to go away. It's something that it's more a question for me of at which pace is gonna come, because of course AI has also a cost associated to it. So, but at least at Avery Dennison, we are trying to take AI in a very pragmatic way. We are trying to do step by step, not jumping blind, but more prioritizing where we think this will have a major impact. Of course, impact of productivity, and we are really looking across 4 areas. We are looking across factory, of course, factory 4.0. We are looking about around customer, how we can facilitate the connection with the customer and their connection with their consumer. It's what we would call more the customer X. We are looking at employee very internally, how we make the life of our employee and how we digitalize our HR, but we are also looking at product and solution. And of course, we have prioritized 4 areas there where we think about system and process around innovation. We think about Lab 4.0. We think about how we build the knowledge and culture and the sharing, because sharing is speed. And then we think about AI and ML models as a mean to accelerate the innovation, the pace of innovation, and as a mean to do innovation in a very different way. So yes, I think AI is definitively a transformation of our business, but also it can enable us to innovate solution for our customer.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's shift gears a little from process and strategy to culture and leadership. And yeah, I can tell you're a great leader, and it's kind of natural to you. But what do you think are essentials for good innovation leadership, especially in the very kind of chaotic changes that are going on today across, for all of us who are trying to lead organizations? What do you think are the core essentials as we look at 2025 and 2026 and the years ahead?
Yes, I think for me, what is essential, at least today, to be a great innovator or to lead innovation or to be part of the innovation teams is really curiosity and external focus. Without any doubt, being able to look at our market, industry, anticipate futures, being able to connect the dots, I think this is absolutely critical. And this idea of anticipation in a chaotic world that is accelerating every day is even more relevant today than ever. So a lot of what I try to do with my team is to inspiring them to be very curious and to be very externally focused. But also another element that I have been working in the past years, joining in my new role, Avery Dennison. I joined 7 years ago. It's this call for more experimentation. Innovation very often involves taking risk. So as a leader, you need to create this environment that encourage employee to take this calculated risk, to have the ability to experiment, to try new things, and also to be the leader that can support them to bounce back from setbacks. We work a lot in changing the mindset and creating this psychological safety within Avery Dennison. We were more of a very more traditional business with a long story of operational excellence, being perfect. This idea that you need to finish the month with a very green scorecard, and failure is and a red a red bubble in a scorecard is a failure. So moving from the perfection to innovation is not perfect. Is you need to think minimum viable prototype. You need to think is a continuous cycle of learnings. We can call failure, but I call a cycle of learning. So I think this is for me the most important.
So it sounds like you're making a major change transformation from what would be traditional waterfall to more of an agile approach. Is that fair
Yes,
to say?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So the understanding and kind of core belief around an agile approach is key to good innovation leadership.
Yeah, I think, and we have this debate about the traditional kind of stage gate process, very articulated, very prescriptive, and the agile. And by the way, we use both because we are still. It depends in which kind of innovation you are playing. If you are playing close to your core, what I used to call H1, iterative product, cost out, etc., I think it's very good to still apply a very structured, old fashion. But the more you go through H2, H3, or box 2, box 3, depending how you qualify your innovation or you define your innovation, there is where we need to learn the people that we need to learn fast is about being the market, gathering insights, learning the people that innovation needs to be market driven, and not everything needs to be perfect to put in front of a customer. We are learning together. So this is a kind of transformation in our journey for sure.
So as you think back at your 7 years at Avery Dennison, what would you say is a remarkable success story? Can we learn from a best practice or something you learned from something great that you did there in terms of an innovation project?
You are thinking about an innovation project and
Or
solution, or
initiative?
more
Yeah.
something we did to in this transformation of boosting innovation?
Yeah. What really stands out to you as something you're super proud of over the last 7 years that you did?
I think something I'm pretty proud is this ability to make the organization realize that we have a very long history of innovation. So next year we are gonna celebrate 90 years of Avery Dennison. So it's really remarkable. Yeah. But at the same time, when you are in this cycle of innovation you have built a very strong core business, but you need to realize at one point in time, this core business is going to mature. So it's very important to protect, nurture, and continue to grow this core business. But you need also at the same time to think about not only the today for today, but have a path and strategy for today, today for tomorrow. And I think what I'm very proud is this making sure that there was this realization, because sometimes some company can be very complacent and think, oh, the business is doing very well, which is the case of Avery Dennison, why we would change it? And I think it was very important to create some domains of innovation. So creating this domain of innovation, assigning specific resources, not the resources that look at the day-to-day, but really resources that can focus on this exploration, focus on discovery, on incubation and acceleration on a specific domain that is not something that is our core business. I think I'm very proud of that. It's a very difficult journey to take, but it has been an incredible process to move the organization, to move the mindset of the organization. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That is quite remarkable. Another kind of given, at least I think it's a given, is the concept of cross-functional alignment. And that alignment across functions drives growth and profitability in an organization, because the organization just naturally will be more effective. How do your teams work together and collaborate, or what are the decision-making processes that you leverage to drive alignment? I know particularly the big pain point that I hear from many leaders is alignment between corporate R&D and the business units, right? That seems to be the big trouble spot. How do you work to drive alignment, and have you set up anything in your organization to help enable that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is absolutely critical. And at Avery Dennison, we have a dual organization. Let's say we have small corporation teams that looks more at what can go across all the region, and then we are also very regionalized. So when I joined, as an example, the marketing, innovation, R&D teams were very much regionalized. Still, I had a corporate lab, but from an R&D perspective, in the back end, the first thing I did, because I did the tour of all my research center, I realized 4 regions were working 4 times in the same stuff. And I thought this was really not very efficient and productive. So the first thing we did is to have one team. And for that, you need to really connect the teams, and you need to have a common way to bring the idea in your pipeline, and to have a common way and a common portfolio management. So we created some community of practice, we call, per technology, but also per segments. And from there, we had people representing the different region, bringing insights from the different region, from the market they represent. And it enables to create pipelines per segment. And also on the longer term, on the H2, H3, we did a little bit the same. We aligned with the business leaders about what is that we think where do we have conviction we need to start to explore that is beyond the core, but not completely too far away from the core. And based on the mega trend, on the strategy work, etc., we identified and created 4 innovation domain. I ask every leader of every business unit to sponsor one of these innovation platform. So it's not just me leading this innovation platform. And we did with a representation across every region. So we have every function, every region representing, leading each of these platforms. And we have a very strong governance team. So we meet to review this platform on a quarterly basis, and this is the decision body. We see what are the new insights, what are the hypotheses that have been proven, what we learn from these hypotheses, what these hypotheses are telling us about what to do, not to do, what to stop, what to double down. And we have been leading like that for a couple of years now, and I think we found a good way of managing, which I'm not saying is the way for everyone. I think everyone needs to find, based on his organization and model, the best way to operate.
Yeah, we definitely recommend whatever the nuances of the approach, a similar approach to drive alignment. It's key to have that type of enterprise-wide decision-making process versus you build it and bring it out to the regions and then they can't do anything with it or don't do anything with it, which is very inefficient.
Yeah, if I can add, Marisa, something I saw that has been a failure, even in Avery Dennison in the past, even before I joined, is to think that this H2, H3, more disruptive innovation needs to be built. It needs dedicated resources, but dedicated resources doesn't mean it needs to be in a cloud or in an island, completely separate from the business. This is never going to work. You need to find a process where you bridge and embed the business into this. And this goes through setting together the strategy and being together part of the governance.
Absolutely. You said you've had that you had that for 3 years. Have you noticed that the leaders who work in that process, is it providing a learning feedback loop so you're getting better at making decisions or more effective at making decisions because you're working in that kind of continuum and learning at the end and kind of it's helping with the inputs and maturing the way you're making decisions.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It comes again to the culture and mindset that you are trying to infuse in the organization. This is not just for our teams, is also is starting from the leaders. And I have to say that practicing all together, sometimes I still see some of the leader, they want to have the answer before we even try to validate the hypothesis in the market. They want a full business case, etc. When you are in this innovation and the more you are in the disruptive innovation, you don't have all the answer. You are still in this exploration. So it has been time that we need to learn the leader and out of the meeting to say, hey, what you did here is not building this psychological safety and confidence in the team. So it has been a common learning process. We learn each other, we give a lot of feedback to each other, and we evolve all together. I think it has been an amazing learning process for everyone.
That is a very evolved mechanism. You should be very proud of that. That is definitely best in class how you're operating there.
Yeah.
All right, two more questions. One is just on Lux. What's your perceived value of Lux? What do you think Lux is about, and what does Lux provide in terms of value to your organization or to you personally?
Yes, so as I said, I'm a very curious person, and I push my people to be curious and to go outside and learn. So one thing we have been leveraging Lux is to come as external speaker. We have an innovation community of practice where we like our people to, and it's voluntary, and we have a bunch of people part of this community of practice, but we did a learning series with external speaker from Lux Innovation, and it was very beneficial to have this external perspective because Lux Research, they connect with multiple industry, multiple company, and they kind of collect all these insights. We also leverage Lux Research for more in-depth research in a very specific topic where we don't have necessarily the insight, and Lux Research can do this much better and faster than anyone in our company. And then a third angle that I really like very much more recently, we had this one-day reflection with other CTO from other industry reflecting about what we see, what challenge we face, and what are the best practice that we can see from the industry. And I always think this ability to share best practice and this benchmark and see how you are versus the rest of the industry, it's always very valuable. So I would see these three angles where we have been interacting with Lux Research extremely, extremely valuable for our company.
Well, it's a privilege to serve you, and I appreciate our partnership very much. All right, for all of the audience who's watching, not everybody is the Chief Technology Officer of their organization, but they may aspire to be someday, or CEO or whatever. For all of those aspiring to be a leader like you, what's one piece of advice that you'd like to give them and leave them with?
Yeah, I think innovation, in particular strategic innovation, it's probably the most difficult stuff to accomplish in a business. It's very hard because it's about trying to create the future and you don't have all the answers. So I would say for me, people that really wants to do this, they need to be extremely resilient. They need to be extremely patient because they are going to have to convince a lot of people. They need to be very courageous and very, very passionate about what they do. And I think for me, what I always tell my people, if they want to get there one day, I think the most important thing in our current world is the ability to ask the right questions. This curiosity, getting the right insights is really about, is not just being the ecosystem and meeting customer. If you are trained to ask the right question, you are gonna go much, much faster because you are gonna get the right insights, the right problems, and it will trigger the right solution that really will create a lot of value in the market.
That's awesome. Well, I want to give you a big thank you. I appreciate all your amazing words of wisdom. This has been a fantastic half hour, and I've learned a lot, and I definitely was inspired. So I'm sure everybody else will be as well. Thank you very much, Pascale.
Thank you, Marisa. Thank you for all the support you gave to us over the years. And yeah, I really appreciate this moment with you. This is something that is very close to my heart. And if I can help others like others have helped me in the past, I think it's very valuable. So